Hey everybody, and welcome to this episode of Dan Plays. Today we're going to go over some advanced tactics, such as shooting from a higher elevation, using our mixed melee and ranged units to fire from guard mode, cycle charging, manually firing artillery, and aiming at certain areas with artillery. Alright, so to get things started off, these are our Free Company Militia. As you can see, they have both melee and ranged stats, so we're going to use them as kind of a hybrid unit. We are going to leave them to take some hits, but also continue firing, and we're going to show you how. So by switching them to guard mode, that should let them fire their weapons from the people who are not engaged in melee in the back. They're still going to be restricted by line of sight, so they won't be attacking the entire time. They don't have bows, but if you're using the Lutheran Sea Guard, you'll probably even see pretty steady streams of arrows coming out from the back, which seriously adds to their damage potential. So here we're going to start moving some Free Company Militia onto the hill, a couple of units of spearmen in the front. So if we play the hill right, as those spearmen are down at the base of the hill, the units coming in will still be able to be shot from over the top. We'll show you that a little bit more as those units group. So the rest of our units, we're just going to move them around, put them into position. I'm going to move my mortars back down over here, more on a level surface. For some reason, I think it helps the arcing artillery shoot better. And then we're going to actually put the Free Company Militia in our front lines.
Ready for war.
Carl Franzia can hang out up here. And Reichsguard at each flank. I'll use one of those to show you cycle charging. Alright, let's get this started. So this is a very untraditional setup for our line, but it's going to help us to... It's going to help me to show you what I want to show you a little bit better. We have artillery firing right now. I like where our Free Company Militia are.
Mortar!
Let's take this artillery and I'm going to show you manual fire. So by holding down the Alt key, you can actually pick an area for the mortars to shoot instead, and they'll focus there.
The Empire endures!
So this is very helpful if you're trying to make the enemy units not dodge your shots. So you can kind of use two different pieces of artillery to hem them into a certain area. Sometimes that'll help you bottle them up as well. Now we're going to do a little bit of manual firing here. This is holding down the insert key. So it's tough to get a hang of at first, but you can actually make a mortar shoot a little bit more like a cannon. So instead of lobbing it all the way up. So as you can see, it can actually be used to devastating effect. Now imagine doing that with a play called Catapult or Warp Lightning Cannon. Personally, I don't use it as manual fire often. I like to see what's going on more. But you can inflict a ton of casualties really quickly by doing it that way. Now as these units start to hit our lines, we're going to take our artillery and start using manual or locational fire over here. We beam and drop it right on Karl Franz. Right here in the middle where he's got those enemies blobbed up. So we're going to do that. Now if you look at our Free Company Militia over here on the hill, they still have a steady stream of fire coming down. Occasionally they'll have a little bit of a line of sight issue, but they should start to get back to volley fire, like right here on the replay, pretty quickly. So that'll do a lot more damage per second. Granted, the swordsman and the spearman both have shields, so that'll stop some of the damage. Sometimes it takes you selecting them to pick on a target in order to get them really going again, instead of just taking pot shots at will, which I highly recommend doing all the time. Always focus fire. You'll bring down enemy units faster.
Militia! Yes, my lord!
Alright, so you can still see a few people shooting here and there. That's kind of what I was trying to get with that. But now back over to the blob of enemy units. So our location-fired mortars right now are just wreaking havoc on this large blob over there. Also, in general, spreading your lines out and having artillery on either flank helps you to do more damage in a specific area in the middle of the line or on the opposite end. You can't really do it to units right in front of you. Even with units like a Warp Lightning Cannon or even just an Empire Cannon, you really want to have a lot of space in between. Alright, so now we're gonna, as the lines have met pretty well, we're gonna have these Reichsguard come around and do a little bit of cycle charging. So So important to note too, the 62 charge bonus they have, that's going to be added onto melee attack and weapon strength if they get a proper charge off. So certain units like the spearmen are going to have charge defense first large, but if we can get enough of a running start into them, we're going to negate that as long as we hit that from the back. So right now we're going to turn. There might not be enough room to get a good charge there. Yeah, there was a unit way too close. So they're not going to get a very impactful charge. We're just going to pull them right back out. So by using the J key, which does an about face, it's going to make your Reiksguard turn. We're just going to interrupt it halfway through, so we have this great blob over here, and a pretty clear run at it. So you can just see that morale bar go from nearly full to almost completely empty. So we have some spearmen coming over. They're a little bit off camera, but we're going to pull back our Reiksguard with the J key, which is going to make them do an about face right outside. So by using the J key as well, your units will stop engaging enemy units that come into in combat. Here they are, they've done their about face, and they are ready to charge again. Now those spearmen weren't set, so they're not going to get their bonus first, their charge defense first large set. They have to be not moving. I think it's for over 1 full second. We're going to pull them back out. See where those spearmen go. They're going to go straight to the line. So we are just going to reset about face. And we are going to charge in for a third time. So they can really hit hard. Do it again over here. So this is the rear of the spearmen. You can see them go flying. Almost as important as the damage you do, it's the morale hits that you're going to get from doing it. So if you repeatedly cycle charge the back of an enemy unit and just inflict quick damage again and again, the morale is going to drop very quickly. So over here we have a unit of spearmen that seems to be coming up a little bit close. We are not going to wait for them to get to the lines. With morale that low, if we start going for them, if they don't set, they're going to get tossed around just like the spearmen would. They're trying to set now, and they did not have enough time. So we just ran right through them, especially coming from a higher elevation to a lower one. Alright, there you have it. There's a quick tutorial I've got for you on some of the more advanced things you can do to help get more out of your campaign battles or your multiplayer battles. Thanks again for watching. This is Dan Plays.